The work created by the Limburg brothers consists of a large number of miniatures of unparalleled quality and detail. These paintings, however, are smaller than an A4 page and are hidden away in a small number of books. By combining archive material with new discoveries in old libraries and museums, a clearer picture of the lives of these obscure master painters emerges from the mists of time. This is the story of Herman, Paul, and Johann van Limburg, also known as the Limburg brothers. The Limburg brothers rose rapidly at the French court, but very few people know that these medieval painters had their artistic base in what is now called the Netherlands.
Ze hebben ook iets toverachtigs, iets sprookjesachtigs gaat ervan uit. Ja, ze stralen iets uit en wat ze uitstralen, dat is naar mijn gevoel het echte oprechte grote kunstenaarschap en vakmanschap van deze mensen.
But the smallness of it obviously is part of the excitement. It's always been one of the excitements in art. Very large things and very small things. The small things are secret.
The three Limburg brothers painted landscapes and portraits with a precision that was unheard of in their time. They gave us the first snowy landscape in the history of painting. Smoke from a chimney, skies full of clouds, a proper night scene, paintings with perspective, people of flesh and blood. The Limburg brothers were way ahead of their time with these innovations. Their medieval art set the trend for modern painting.
Some painters make their career primarily because they could do one thing that was new or different and great, and you focus on that primarily. But the Limburg brothers do all of it.
And indeed, their art is the great flowering, the great effervescence, like fireworks in the sky, a huge shattering of some of the most beautiful art that was produced.
Some of the 600-year-old paintings are so realistic that we can still recognize them today. The month December on the calendar shows a hunting scene with the great donjon of Vincennes Castle in Paris clearly in the background. The Mont Saint-Michel hasn't changed much since the Limburg brothers lived. Even back then, the Breton monastery island fell dry at low tide. Even though the farmers have left the city, the Parisian Ile de la Cité is clearly recognizable on the June page. It is these pictures of proud castles that determine our impression of the Middle Ages.
The illuminations of the Limburg brothers certainly give us a window into the medieval world, but it's a window into a very, very rarefied part of the medieval world. It's the world of a royal prince.
You have to think of the times. These were extremely bad times. The king was mad. This is the period of the 100 Years' War. This was not an easy time to be alive. Politically extremely unsettled. And when you look at the manuscripts, however, you don't have a sense that his peasants are, let's say, overtaxed, but yet they look extremely happy to be working out in the fields, mowing the hay and reaping the wheat. Of course, it's very rough and dirty work, but you wouldn't know it for the pictures. It all looks as if everything is sweet and hunky-dory, as we say.
Het water van de rivier stroomde traag voorbij onder de bogen van de bruggen. Het was troebel, vol slip en vuil. Alleen op het grasland en de akkers buiten de wallen van Parijs ging het werk ondanks de schroeiende hitte zonder onderbreking door. De boeren wilden het graan binnenhalen voor vernietigende onweersbuien zouden losbarsten. Vanuit de vensters van Saint-Paul en omliggende kastelen zag men de maaiers als stippen voortbewegen op het veld. De zon flitste in sikkels en zeis. Half naakt, druipend van zweet, schoren de mannen plek na plek van halmen